Hey guys, how's it going? You are watching Under the Over podcast for the Thursday Showdown special DFS on DK Showdown slate. Dallas Cowboys versus Tampa Bay. And with us again today is Matt. Man. How's it going, man?
Man, 24 hours until the start of the NFL season. I'm ready.
Yeah, I would say I'm excited, but as a Dallas Cowboy fan growing up and then from what I've seen,
Oh,
from the past to now, I'm excited for NFL, but for Cowboy season, I'm holding it in. I'm holding in my excitement.
sure. I can
But
understand that.
um, and then especially going up against Tampa Bay, Tom Brady and that team, Mike Evans. Yeah, it's that the defense is gonna have it. The Dallas Cowboys defense gonna have a tough time against that. But anyway, yeah. So we're here to talk about and break down the very first showdown slate of the season. Matt, what are your first thoughts about this? About the coming into this game?
Uh, well, the latest the last over under in line that I saw had Tampa Bay as like an 8-point favorite and a
Mhm.
total of about 51.5. So I mean it seems like it has shootout potential. Um, and could come in with like a I don't know, 31 to 24 kind of score, something along those lines.
Mhm.
Um, and we know Tom Brady likes to spread the ball out and throw to a lot of different receivers. He has a ton of pass catching options. So,
Mhm.
um, you know, I I thought Tampa Bay would actually be favored by a little more than that, but uh, since you're the Cowboys fan, can you tell me what do you think about their defense, like their secondary going into this game?
The secondary is probably the brightest spot of that entire defense. There's not a lot to be excited about on the front on the defensive line. Um, I think me and you and I were talking about yesterday. If Van Der Esch can stay healthy, that'll be a big plus. Um, and then some of the some of the corners, man, they haven't really had a lot going on there at that position. Um, it's I don't know. They were so riddled with injuries last year too. I almost don't even know what to expect from the entire defense as a whole. Um, but I'm going to try to be optimistic. This is not a week I would think about playing the Dallas defense, even in no.
No,
Um, so yeah, I no, I'm as of right now. There's not a whole lot showing me of for me to be optimistic. I haven't seen a lot to be optimistic uh, about the Dallas Cowboy defense. I really haven't. So yeah. That being said, I like Tom Brady. I like Mike Evans. I mean, whatever you can find to go up against that Dallas Cowboys defense would it will work. I have no doubt. Yeah. So
I'm
load up on Tampa Bay
yeah.
until
I was
otherwise.
I was playing around with it earlier, just kind of doing some hand builds, and I built lineups thinking that Brady is going to throw the ball to literally everyone, and I started thinking about maybe having lineups with like three or even four pass catchers, from Tampa Bay. Now, will they all, like get there, so to speak, and meet value? Probably not all of them, but it might be a way to get a unique construction. Like I have one where I have Brady in the captain spot, and then I have Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Gronk. Um, and then one Dallas player. So
Right.
I think something like that could be unique. I'm not sure that a lot of people would go that wild on Tampa Bay receivers, but I just thinking about how Dallas, but before Dak got hurt, how they were just getting gashed by passing games like all the time.
Yeah. Um, so you're really high on the receivers for Tampa Bay, as am I. What are your thoughts about maybe a running back playing a running back like let's see, I guess Fournette. Uh, I mean the Cowboys' rush defense just isn't very good. They're not. It's not a very good defense. That's a big weakness. Like I said, that the defensive line just can't hold very well.
Yeah, I do like Uncle Lenny and even Gio Bernard. It seems like, man, I never get the Tampa Bay running backs right. Like whenever I think it's going to be an Uncle Lenny week, Ronald Jones goes out and scores 2 touchdowns.
And
I
that's what I was
really,
about to. That's what I was about to say. You could, let's see. I'm showing Ronald Jones second in line, and then Giovanni Bernard third
right.
overall. Yeah. So um, maybe instead of Fournette, maybe Ronald Jones take that chance, maybe in a lineup, or what are your thoughts? I mean, he is a little bit more expensive, what, $200 more than Lenny.
I mean, obviously, like I don't have access to any ownership projections, but I think that because Uncle Lenny is more of a pass catching back, people might go there first, and Ronald Jones might actually be the lower owned of the two. And I I don't even hate the idea of putting Ronald Jones in the captain spot. I mean, what if he scores 2 touchdowns?
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Um, I'm gonna try to pull up some ownership for you real quick. See where we're at. Not like it matters on a week one slate, but we'll see. So the question was, we were unsure what Ronald Jones ownership was going to be, right?
Right.
I'm showing just over 20% ownership overall.
Okay.
Just under 3% captain at the captain spot,
Okay.
and just under 20% at the utility.
Okay. What about Fournette?
Fournette, not a whole lot more. Just under, let me see, right at just over 26% at ownership. At the captain spot, just under 3%.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, utility 23.
So between Fournette and Jones, Jones is the lower owned of the two, at least right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Not by a large margin, but
Right.
there's a small margin there.
It's kind of like negligible. Like
Yes.
it's not
Yeah.
a big. Well, I I think Gio Bernard might be the third down back. I think I heard that. So
Mhm.
and he's extremely cheap. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to play Gio in at least one lineup. I mean, not like in the captain spot, but
Sure.
if he suddenly just like fell into the end zone somehow,
Yeah.
at like 2% ownership or something crazy like that, then it could it could work. I feel like my best lineups and showdowns have always been with a wide receiver in the captain spot.
Mhm.
Um, and then maybe one or even two other wide receivers paired with a running back. I mean, the quarterback,
Right.
to get that correlation. So, uh, let me ask you this:
Sure.
Dallas is obviously going to be playing from behind,
It seems that
and
way anyway. Yeah.
it seems like Vegas is telling us that. So,
Yes.
is there any merit to some of these Dallas wide receivers and in the captain spot? Like the guy I'm thinking about is CeeDee Lamb in particular.
Okay. Um, there could be. Yes. Now, I mean, Dak is not a bad quarterback. He is actually a really good quarterback. I'm very happy with him at being the Dallas quarterback. I have a lot of faith in him. Um, that being said, like the utilization of the wide receivers just lately it hasn't been there, and they have three in my thought, top 15, top 20 wide receivers that should be in the NFL. Like in the NFL, you would think Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and who Michael Gallup, you know. Uh that right there, I'm thinking, those are top 20, 25 receivers. You have two wide receivers that should be top 10, I would think, and CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Uh, yeah, I I don't know, especially okay. There was some news yesterday that um, who was it? Man, I was telling you yesterday about it. The Dallas Cowboys center and the the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys is just. I mean, I was telling you about the defensive line for the Cowboys, but man, the offensive line is not good at all. That's another weakness. It's like um, I think every single draft pick they had this past season was just for defense. I want to say, I think that's what they geared towards their entire draft this past draft, and offensive line help. That's something they needed. I don't I don't remember if they really addressed that during the offseason. I don't think so. I expect more of the same. You're probably going to see a lot of Dak running again. Unfortunately, Ezekiel is going to get his handoffs. He's going to be fed the ball a lot. He's going to do the feed me. Um, is Dak going to have the time this year to get the ball to those receivers? Um, we probably won't see a lot of it, especially with that with Tampa Bay's corners. They're not bad. They're pretty good pass defense. So um, I don't I don't know. I would probably put in Lamb just for the chance that he gets a touchdown or two. But Amari Cooper, he just really hasn't had a lot to do the past what season, 2 seasons for the Cowboys. Just really
Yeah,
hasn't been there. And
there,
I was hoping he would, but it just doesn't seem like he has really fit in just yet.
there's also that narrative, and I think it's actually kind of backed up by the numbers that Cooper plays a lot better at home, for whatever reason, and this game is on the road for the Cowboys.
Right.
So I I wonder though if that would actually push down Cooper's ownership some. Um, I mean, I always think that any wide receiver is a viable captain. If they're like one of the top three options on a team, I feel like you know, they could be the winning captain. So, of like the 15 lineups that I think I'm going to play, I plan to have one Cooper in the captain spot lineup.
In ownership, let's let everyone know for those that haven't really played a whole lot in DFS showdowns, ownership mainly is only goes with like large GPPs. If you're playing a smaller GPP with like maybe a 300 field, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you could pretty much have whoever in as much as you wanted to. But ownership wise, if you're playing like a 300,000 or yeah 300 person field, 300,000 person field, then that's a bit. That's when ownership does kind of matter. That's when you really start looking at ownership. Amari Cooper, I'm going to let you know this. Amari Cooper just at 40% ownership, uh, just under 8% at captain, and 30% utility. That's ownership for Amari Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah. So now closer to game time, that could change a little bit. That could drop off a little bit. But as of right now, 24 hours before game time. Yeah. That's what we're looking at.
That seems high. Like, I mean, we know it could change, but I don't know. That would be a little aggressive for Cooper. Like for me, I don't. I think I would go under that.
right.
Um,
Well, who has the third most ownership for the entire showdown slate? CD
so
Lamb. CD Lamb. He has the third most projected ownership.
yeah,
Yeah. So
that that makes more sense. I mean, I think Lamb's like this is going to be his true breakout season. I feel like,
yeah,
um, and I could see him scoring 2 touchdowns tomorrow night, and I think that would make Lamb a good captain. I really do.
yeah. Kind of probably differentiate yourself away from the rest of the field too, because I think a lot of people are going to have Brady. Of course, Brady, maybe somewhat Dak. I don't I don't really think you're going to see a lot of wide receiver at the and that's what I'm seeing here too. I'm not seeing a lot of wide receivers at the captain spot, and that captain spot's
That's
big
good.
when it comes down to showdown.
That
We already know.
that's good. Like the most money I ever won on a showdown was with a Philadelphia Eagles stack with uh and it was one of those like ugly Thursday night games, like
Sure.
the games that just no one watches.
Right.
And it had a wide receiver in the captain spot, and then it had I think I had like 3 wide receivers, and Carson Wentz just aired it out like all night long. And this was before Jalen Hurts arrived on the scene, and it worked out. So I always believe in putting those skill players in the captain spot.
Yeah. Here's an idea for you. If somehow Dallas isn't able to get into the end zone, what about like a Greg Zerline at captain? If it just
Greg
ends up to where
Zuerlein.
yeah,
Ooh,
if it if it ends up to where he's like out there kicking field goals almost the entire game.
I hadn't thought about that, but I will tell you that when I was hand building earlier, I did have a lineup with Zerline in one of the flex spots,
Okay.
but I had not thought about. I mean, I feel like a
Yeah, it sounds
kicker,
really stupid, but
like I think it's very, very low probability. Like I think in the flex spot, it's definitely viable. Um, but if we're thinking about a game that could be like grinded out and low scoring,
sure.
then a running back in the captain spot might be a better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then you load it up and you play like you know 2 running backs from the same team or something.
Sure.
And sorry about the phone there,
No.
guys.
Yeah.
Um, I'm in my office, so Uh, where was I? Oh yeah, so Zerline, yes, but not in the captain spot.
Okay. Yeah, I saw Zerline and I'm like, I'll probably have some Zerline in my lineups. It's a showdown. You got to try everything, especially if you're playing in a large GPP. You got
Yeah.
to just throw out just about anything you can find.
Oh, for sure. You got to get crazy so you avoid like the 5,000 way tie at the
Oh
top.
yeah, yeah. And
I mean,
that's another thing that a lot of players might not think about. They're too fixated on
I,
Tom Brady, Mike Evans, the wide receiver core and then CeeDee Lamb is maybe a one-off cowboy, like you brought up, earlier. You know,
I I would think something like a tight end in the captain spot would be like if you're gonna like go way off the board and get really weird. Uh, so like Gronk or Jarwin or Schultz, something like that.
yeah,
Um, so
okay, yeah,
something like that.
all right. Uh, let me see. What about okay? So we brought up Mike Evans. Did we talk about Antonio Brown
Um,
at all? Like, would he be a probability at maybe the captain spot? I mean, you have Mike Evans. What kind of role do you think Antonio Brown's going to play in that
Antonio
offense?
Brown is well. I mean, I think he's basically the third option. But he's cheap enough that I'm planning to have a lineup with him at captain and also more than one lineup with him in the flex spot. And you know that's the way I plan to do it. But I definitely think he could catch a touchdown and break off a long one and makes him a viable captain. I mean, he's a wide receiver, so for me, he's a viable captain.
Right. You want some news real quick before we get out of here? Uh,
Sure.
Rob Gronkowski at captain projected 0%.
Okay.
There you go. So
I'm
tight
doing
end,
it.
tight end at captain
I'm do-
Gronkowski. He's going to get the targets, right? And who's going to guard him? Who's going to guard him on that defense?
I read where somebody said he was like the winning captain in the Super Bowl, possibly.
Yeah. I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't believe.
Okay. Well, I,
Believe
s-
that.
I when I was hand building, I have, let's see, one, two, three, four, five Gronk lineups, but he's in the flex. So I think I'm going to make at least one where he's my captain.
Yeah,
All right. Um, anything else?
I think that's it. Pretty quick showdown slate show. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, like and subscribe, comment, do whatever, but please subscribe and find out whenever we come back. Matt and I are going to work on some more DFS NFL shows coming up. Yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot of shows coming up for you. So please like and subscribe. And if you got something to tell us or some questions for us, just comment down below. Ask us whatever. Hey, let us know that y'all are watching, please. Whatever kind of feedback we can get really helps. So, all right, guys, y'all were watching the Thursday night Showdown DFS special for Dallas and Tampa Bay. We'll see you again on Friday for the main slate show. All right, Matt, thanks a lot for joining me, man.
All right. Thanks, man.
Have a good one, guys.